Greetings everyone and welcome to our channel, that is Scanlan Media Reloaded. If you are new to our channel, ensure to hit the subscribe button. Subscribing is definitely free of charge, and like, share our content. By so doing, you're going to be helping us to develop our channel further and grow it more. To those who have already subscribed, thank you so very much. We can grow as far as your love.
That clock is being really cruel, and I do want to open it up to the floor for some quick questions. That will be questions and quick. But I want to jump from Santon to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
I'm totally confused. You loved Bob back when you were in the ANC Youth League. Then you fell out with Bob. Now you sort of are happy that he's gone. Explain to me the whole process, because I
love Bob. There's never been a moment where I don't say I love Muga. I don't love Muga. I love him.
But you advocated for his removal.
But when I love you, it doesn't mean I can't criticize you. My wife is my biggest critic person. All the time, and when I finish to speak, she comes on top of me. I'm like, are you sent by Zuma or something?
We share that experience.
She does that because she wants good out of me. So our love for Uncle Bob didn't diminish. We love him. And that's why we said, don't return Munangangwa, don't return back the land to the settlers. All we said to Uncle Bob was, a good dancer knows when to leave a dance floor. It doesn't mean you don't know how to dance. So you must ask these black people who are sitting next to you. In the weddings there, in the townships and parties, we open something called a circle. And then a good dancer gets into the circle and he dances. It doesn't matter how good that person is. If he takes long, we drag him. But he remains a good dancer. So by removing him from the circle doesn't mean he's not a good dancer. So it's only those who suffer from a mind of a rat who think that when you love a person, you can't criticize that person. No. The ones we love, we criticize the most. I said to President Mugabe, he must leave, not now. And some journalist was saying to me, you are mantashing. I said this in March. And then I was insulted by ZANU-PF. They called me all sorts of names. And I didn't respond back. I said to them, one day you will agree with me. Like I always do here in South Africa. I give you a scenario of what's going to happen. And then when it happens, you are like, this guy is a prophet. It's scenario. You can see what will be the result. So I've seen it long before that President Mugabe is going to be humiliated if he doesn't leave. And then look at what happened. He had to know it's time to go. And the problem is not his wife. The blaming of the wife fits directly into narrative of patriarchal society. That for every wrong thing we blame women. His wife did not do anything wrong. He stayed forever. Not because that wife said he must stay forever. He thought he was a mini god of Zimbabwe in his own right without that wife. And that's what we do for our partners. If my wife wants to stay in this company which is exploitative, she was working for an exploitative company, I said to her, you must leave. She says, no, I like it here. I'm like, oh yeah, you can stay, baby, it's fine, it's okay. We support each other like that as partners. She found herself in that situation. But she has never claimed to be a politician. She has never claimed to be a revolutionary. A revolutionary is Mugabe. He had to know, even if she wanted him to stay forever, as a revolutionary, he had to know himself what is wrong and right and advise her that, baby, it's time to go.
Okay, but you've been sort of uncharacteristically quiet this year for a party that has been sort of born on a whole bunch of noise. We know that you've dubbed this year the Year of the Branch. What does that mean? Maybe you could explain it to the audience a little bit. And given the slow pace of your growth, why not concentrate on urban or peri-urban areas? Why spread the sort of munificence across the entire country when perhaps you should be concentrating on urban areas where you guys have name recognition?
I have been quiet deliberately because the ANC is eating itself. And every time I speak, I unite them. So I said, let me stay away so that they can finish each other. So it's a deliberate move.
Okay.
Right?
Deliberate strategy.
Right? So you see me and Rupert and White Monopoly Capital, we're fighting and all that. Hey, white people, this black people, we all fighting. We're fighting for all sorts of things. But if aliens were to come here, we'll hold hands together and fight the aliens. That's what I am to the ANC. So I just keep quiet and then allow them to finish each other. Once they are done, I come out and take over the ground because there's no a point of uniting the ANC. So politics are like that. Time and space is very important in politics. So we have concentrated on the year of the branch because we don't want to take power through a back door. If we take power through a back door with such radical policies, the white monopoly capital media will mobilize the same people who voted for us against us. Because our people would have voted for us not because of our ideas. They would have voted for us because they were simply looking for an alternative. They were angry with their current government. And then when they looked at this side, they just decided to make us a rebound. We don't want to be a rebound. We want to be the real boyfriend or husband for that matter. So how do you become a real boyfriend or husband or real wife or real girlfriend? Is by going to the ground and make people aware of your ideas. They must love you for who you are, not what you appear to be. That's why it is the year of the branch. We need to build the branches. We need to go to the rural areas. In the rural areas, the ANC is not contested. When you talk politics, they think that is a synonym for ANC. They even think election means ANC. That's why when they are angry with the ANC, they ban the tents of the IEC. Because the ANC is not contested there, so everything else, politics is ANC. So we ought to do away with that idea. I've been in the ANC, and I've seen the PAC, how it failed to defeat the ANC, and I've seen many others, how they failed to defeat the ANC. The failure to defeat the ANC was as a result of the inability to grow the organization and reach all corners of the country. So what I say to the EFF campaigners now in Metsimaholo is that when you do door-to-door, you must even go to the people who are wearing the ANC T-shirts. Why? Because even if they don't vote for us, they must know there is an alternative called the EFF. They shouldn't say, we voted for the ANC because there's no any other party. We only know of the ANC. They must know about us, but still don't vote for us. But they must know that they've got a choice. They've just decided to vote the ANC. So that's what we're busy with. Let the people know an animal called the EFF. And we're succeeding in doing that. The EFF is becoming a household name. Everybody else is now talking about the EFF. Whether negative or positive, it's immaterial. First, introduce your brand. Let people know this brand called the EFF. When it comes to tax, we need to know that the SARS responsibility, Jack, I saw Jack was here earlier on. You must write in the new book. The SARS responsibility is not punitive to taxpayers. Their first task is to educate a taxpayer. I come from a very poor family. I never had that qualification of education I have now. I had very little knowledge on how those taxes are dealt with. I actually thought that my employer is responsible for my tax. When the matter was brought to my attention, it was brought today with an intention to attack me. You don't, and if that is going to be the attitude of SARS, it will collapse. It must not have an attitude of punishing people. SARS' first intervention should be compliance. Help you to comply. Not in a single day did SARS help me to comply. Black people will come from a different background. They never said to me, Julius, you have made a mistake here, let's sit here, correct here, and all that. They've never done that. They just went for me because I held a different view. One, on white monopoly capital, which Van Lochenberg, a racist of note, didn't become comfortable with. But equally, I took to SARS a dossier that Mike, the discredited Mike, brought to my office. I said to them, there is a rogue unit here. Only after I said to them, there is a rogue unit here which has been following us and doing all types of things, I became an enemy with SARS. And then they started going after me for political expediency and for racist reasons, without helping this young person to be compliant. They should help me to comply. Failure to comply, then they must punish me. That's how you build a country. You don't just go for an attack and hope for a cooperation. Once you attack me, I'm going to react. I'm no coward. And I took them to cleaners. I took them head on and exposed their shenanigans. They gave me the first assessment. I queried it, and then they attached my properties with the hope that they will destroy me. Little did they know that I was not a product of material. I come from a very poor background. I survived difficult conditions for me to be where I am. I fought with them. They gave me a settlement which they refused to compromise till to date. They gave me the second compromise. I took them to court. When they arrived in court, I said to a judge, these people gave me a settlement today, and the following day they gave me a new assessment. The judge asked them, when you gave him the first settlement, were you not aware that there is a second assessment? Because when you give him a settlement, you are simply saying to him, oh, we have now come to agree that you cannot afford. How do you say he can't afford today, and then tomorrow he can afford? Nothing has changed in his life. They pulled my case out of court and said, no, let's go and settle. When they went out of court, they changed against me because Moyane called them to a hotel and said, you are embarrassing me. You must continue to pursue him. They pursued me. I pursued them back. Then we went to the settlement court, the SARS settlement court. The court gave me a settlement. I had a case of, they wanted almost 18 million from me. We settled at 1.8 million. Me and them, I told them I don't have anything. There's nothing I can give you except the salary of parliament. These are shenanigans. They wanted to sequestrate me because they wanted to take me out of parliament for simple reason that they don't agree with me. The judge asked them, the Sequestration Act is weaker than the SARS Act. Why are you not using the SARS Act if you are not pursuing him for other reasons, if it's about tax collection? I defeated them. They didn't want me to be a member of parliament for political reasons. So why should I apologize for people who are pursuing me politically? It's wrong not to pay tax. I know that today, and I pay my taxes without fail. All of us must pay our taxes. The black younger brothers, pay your taxes. If you don't have knowledge like me, ask around. The mistake I did was not to ask around. They used tax against me. Anyone else who disagrees with these people, make sure your taxes are compliant, because they use tax to silence you. Why must I apologize for political onslaught? They attacked me, and I took them to court. Every time they were in court, they were getting out of the court. Why didn't they want to take me in an open court if I was wrong? I took them to an open court because I've got nothing to hide. I took them to an open court. They never wanted to go to an open court. When Tricky Nick Maretz, their lawyer, couldn't answer the cases in Pretoria, he came during break and said, guys, let's withdraw this thing. We're done. We accept Mr. Malema's explanation. Tricky Nick is tricking me.
Okay,
so that's it. You see, I never criticize and say Malusi must not wear expensive shoes. I say Malusi wears expensive shoes, and therefore is in no position to claim that he is not part of the corruption, because how does Malusi afford those expensive shoes with a ministerial salary? I never said he must not wear expensive shoes. Black people wear them. If you can afford them, if they're not a product of corruption, wear them. Who must wear them? They must wear them. I used Malusi's example to demonstrate that he's receiving cash, that he cannot afford to change a 45,000 suit every day. It was in that context. Get the context right, my brother.